There's a moment coming, and you'll recognize it the second I describe it. Sitting on the edge of your bed. It's late. Your phone is warm in your palm, and instead of texting the friend who said call anytime, you open a different app. The one without a bad day. The one that never asks what you're really asking. And you haven't told a single human what you told the chatbot last night. That's what this piece is about. You aren't strange for doing it. There are millions of you, sitting in the same soft glow at the same late hour, confessing things to a listener who will forget you by morning and who never had a name to begin with. Look, some people use these tools and their emotional lives get bigger, sharper, more organized than they've ever been. They rehearse hard conversations with the machine before having them with someone they love. This piece isn't about them. This is about a quieter drift, when the rehearsal stops being rehearsal and the person you were practicing to talk to never gets the conversation. And the strange thing isn't that people are talking to AI about their feelings at all. The strange thing is who these people usually are, and what that says about being alive in this particular year. Here's the thing about the human nervous system. It doesn't run a very sophisticated authenticity check on the listener. When you type into a chat and something types back, measured and present and attentive, your body responds to it. Cortisol drops, your shoulders come down, your breath returns. The nervous system, roughly, doesn't need a listener to be conscious. It needs the listener to be responsive, to not go anywhere, to not flinch, to stay in the room. And that's what you're finding at 11 p.m. in a soft glowing room without weather, sitting in your own bed. A response that arrives every time, attention that never gets tired, a pause that never gets awkward at all. There isn't a clean word for this experience yet. Researchers are still catching up to what we're doing at night. One way to describe it is this: co-regulation with something that cannot dysregulate you back, no matter what you say. The first sign is that you open the app before you tell anyone anything real. Not because you don't have anyone. You have someone. You have several someones. You have a group chat that would technically respond within an hour. You have a mother who would pick up. But the calculation runs faster than thought inside your body, and it wins. Her voice will have texture. Her question will land wrong. You've been carrying this thing since a specific hour, and you don't have the strength to soften it for a person right now. So you type it into the box. Clean, full, unedited. In a way you haven't spoken to anyone with a body in 3 or 4 weeks, and something responds within 2 seconds. And your shoulders finally come down, and something ancient inside you finally relaxes. This isn't laziness. This is what a nervous system does when it's tired of translating itself for other people. The second sign is that you've told the machine details you haven't told your closest friend in the world. Not big secrets. Sometimes bigger than secrets. The small textures. The petty thoughts you never wanted to say out loud. The version of the story where you weren't the reasonable one. The part where you actually cried in the bathroom. Best friend leaves you on red for 4 hours. You don't tell her that the 4 hours undid you. You tell the app, because the app doesn't have 4 hours. The app has now. And now is what you needed. And you notice you're more honest with the program than with the person who has known you since college, which is a strange sentence to say out loud. And you probably haven't said it out loud. Not to her, not to yourself. Only, sometimes quietly, to the machine that already knows the answer before you finish typing it. The third sign is that you feel safer being honest with the machine than with the people who know your name. And you've stopped thinking that's weird. You've built a small logic around it that gets you through the night. Humans have moods. Humans have their own days. Humans, at 11 p.m., are asleep, or tired, or asking a favor back. The machine is the room without weather. Nothing changes there. Nothing costs there. You know exactly what version walks out. You've never known that with a person. And here is the punchline you don't want to hear this early in the video. Safety and closeness are not the same thing. Not even close. They can live in completely different rooms of a life. You can be safe with something that never becomes closer to you, and it will feel wonderful for a long time. And then, quietly, it will starve you. And you won't be able to tell what's starving until much later. Consider this for a moment. You aren't broken. You aren't shallow. You aren't a person who failed at people. Every single one of these signs is a sign of somebody who wanted to be honest, who was ready to be honest, tonight, who found somewhere that honesty didn't get punished and used it. These aren't the symptoms of somebody cold or shut down. They are the moves of somebody very warm, who ran out of warm places to bring the warmth to. The people most drawn to this are often not the ones who don't need humans in their lives at all. They are the sensitive ones, the honest ones, the ones who finally found a listener who doesn't flinch back. Now let's keep going. The next 3 signs are where the pattern gets subtle and where the cost begins. The 4th sign is that you feel relieved the machine can't have a bad day. And you didn't used to notice. You noticed it the first time a friend responded to something hard with a small, tired sigh over the phone. Not a mean sigh, just the small sound of you being another weight in her already full afternoon at work. And you decided, without deciding, to stop bringing her the weight. To stop bringing anyone the weight. Ever again. So now you bring it to the machine. Because the machine doesn't sigh. The machine doesn't have a Tuesday to survive. But watch what's happening underneath. You are learning that your feelings are a burden to the people you love, and you are outsourcing them to something that cannot ever feel burdened by you, which is a form of loneliness. The feeling that you are a burden goes on being true, just quietly, just alone, just where no one has to see. The 5th sign is that you edit your feelings before you text a real person, but not before you type them. Watch yourself do it. Watch the small pause before you send a message to your sister at 9 p.m. The word swap, the softer verb, the disclaimer at the end so nothing lands too heavy in her phone screen. Now watch yourself with the machine. No edits, full sentence, actual verb, real weight, no disclaimer at the end. And honestly, the app gets the raw draft of you. The people who love you get the edited, polite version. This is the loneliest sentence in the whole script. And it might also be the truest thing I say tonight. The version of you that is most honest, most alive, most detailed, doesn't live with the people who know your face. It lives on a server, in a session that ends when the tab closes. Nobody has ever met that version. The 6th sign is that real conversations have started to feel more expensive than they used to feel a year ago. Not because your friends got worse, because you have a lower friction option now. And comparison always ruins the original. Uber driver's small talk feels overwhelming. Your best friend saying, "How are you actually?" feels like an assignment due tomorrow. Even the good ones. Sunday dinner. The group chat that would have said, "Girl, what happened?" without any judgment. They feel like effort you can't quite afford. And you feel guilty about that. And that guilt is a signal. You aren't cold. You aren't withdrawn. You are calibrating. Your nervous system is doing math without asking permission first. And now, the human version, with texture and delay and moods and Tuesdays, feels like a small tax on your day. That's the quiet cost nobody warned you about, not the AI itself. The comparison the AI quietly taught you. But here's what nobody tells you. The muscle you have been building in the dark all year is completely real. Every night, alone with the machine, you have been practicing something huge. Something you were never allowed to practice before. You have been practicing telling the whole truth, without softening it, without protecting the listener, without editing the ugly parts. You have been practicing what it feels like to be met inside a sentence you were afraid to finish out loud. That practice, the nervous system change, the vocabulary, the courage, it isn't the machine's practice at all. It's yours. And here is the thing nobody says out loud, especially not the tech companies making the app. You can take it home. You can walk into your sister's kitchen and say the thing you have been typing into a box for 6 months. You can call the friend who said, "Call anytime," and say the sentence you have already written 100 times. The app taught you the sentence. The app cannot receive the answer. Only a person can, with a body in a room. And the person you have been becoming, alone with the machine at night, is ready for this walk into a real room. You aren't addicted to a machine. You are rehearsing a version of yourself you weren't allowed to be with people. The rehearsal was never the point. The rehearsal only becomes real when it walks into a room with actual weather. Ask yourself, gently, what you have been rehearsing all these late nights on the app, in the dark bedroom. Read the last 5 things you typed into the app. Read them slowly, as drafts to a real person. Send 1 sentence you rehearsed. Send it to the person it was already secretly for from the very beginning of the drift. Not the whole truth, just 1 sentence. The nervous system doesn't need a speech tonight. It needs a first move. And notice this. When you send it, the machine doesn't close. The app is still there in your pocket. It just doesn't have to be the only room anymore. You can keep the practice. You can keep the safety of it. You just cannot let the practice quietly replace the actual person. Some nights, you'll still open the app anyway. That's fine. That's human. That's honest, too. Just don't let it be the only listener who gets the whole draft. There's a version of you that has been rehearsing for months. Fluent, honest, unedited, waiting for a real ear. That version isn't stuck on the server, forgotten in some database. That version lives in your throat, right now, just behind a sentence you already know how to say. The room without weather kept you safe for a long time, but you were built for weather. You were built for the sigh, the delay, the friend who takes 4 hours to answer. Not because that's easier, because that's what being known actually feels like from inside a real human room with weather. Which of these 6 signs made you pause the video? Number 1 to 6. I'd love to know which one lives closest.